Hi everybody, Farmer Biker here. Well, today we're gonna worm the cows. So I got some ivermectin, which is a generalized wormer that's a pour-on for pretty much all cattle. And I've enlisted the help of my beautiful wife. And we're gonna get the cows over here. It's a small bottle we got, not a huge one, but it comes with a little measuring device. We'll get it measured out for each calf and pour it on their backs, along the ridge line on their back, and get them wormed. Well, these three came over right away. We put a little bit of hay in the trough for them, but my wife's got to go over there and say hi to the fourth one. She was busy over there eating grass and didn't really see what the other ones were doing, I don't think. I'm going to try to bring her over. So this measuring device, I don't know if you can see the increments on it. It's in 5 millimeter increment starting at 10 millimeters. And it's about 22 pounds per milliliter, sorry. And it kills roundworms, brown stomach worm, come on focus camera, lungworms, grubs, sucking lice, biting lice, mange mites, and horn flies. And so the main ones that I'm really worried about, like the main one, is the brown stomach worm, because that can affect their growth. But of course all the other ones are bad, roundworms and everything else, lungworms can make them really sick. But the brown stomach worm can really affect their growth, especially if you're growing them for meat. So getting them wormed is really important. So now with this little deal here, we just screw it right on top, screws it right in there, and then we squeeze the bottle and it fills it up to the desired amount, and then we pour it on. Well, she got her over here. So I got it set at about 250 pounds. She's about 250 pounds, but I think these two are around 200, so we're gonna back that down. If you can see the little red deal in there, we turn this and it drops it down. We're gonna go to just below that 200 mark. And squeeze the bottle, fills it up. If you go above the line, when you bring it back down, it sucks it down to where it's supposed to be. Pretty neat little setup. And we take it here and we just pour it along their back, just like that. Super simple. You want to do fluffy? We don't need a whole lot. That's enough. But for little Miss Glutton over here, we're going to raise that up, actually.
Yeah, she's
to about 330 pounds, because she's considerably larger than the rest of them. And then we just pour it on her back. Yeah, get the last bit of it out of there, yeah. Super simple. So, worming cows like that, it's very important, especially, well, it's just an important period. And they should be wormed anywhere between every 3 to 6 months. They should get wormed. And like the large feed yards, I used to haul cattle years ago, and the large feed yards, they buy that stuff by the drum, I think. And definitely larger containers than I had for sure. Because sometimes they get shipments in and they're pouring 300, 400, 500 head. Some of the big feed yards buy it in 55-gallon drums, like in North Texas, where there's 30, 40,000 head, and they're worming them constantly. Because cows, they stick their faces in the dirt, just like horses and any other livestock animal. They got their faces in the dirt and milling around, and there's worms and parasites and all kinds of critters in the soil, and they eat the grass and whatnot off the soil, and they ingest it, and it gets into their intestines and causes all kinds of problems. So worming them on a consistent basis is very important for their health. It's all part of having good animal husbandry. And it's pretty easy to tell somebody who's not taking care of their animals. They're usually skinny and underweight, and hair is falling out because they've got parasites. But when you have animals that are healthy and plump and good hair and good coats on them and good skin and good attitudes, you know, they're being well taken care of. So And there's other kinds of wormers out there besides ivermectin, but that's the stuff that I've always used. I'm not trying to plug them or anything. It's just something that I've used for over 20 years on our cattle. So my mother used it when I was young, and I just carried that on. And it works great. You know, feed yards I used to pick cows up at, they all used it. So I think it's maybe one of the most widely used around the country. I'm not sure, but I just know it works really well. So I use it for all my cattle. So I'm going to change this soon. I just built a hard feeding trough for them when I first put this pen together, but the other day, or yesterday, I came in here and I scraped all this up. This was all just around, and they had turned into kind of this just mess, just sloppy, stinky mess. So I'm going to come in here with the wheelbarrow and we're going to clean it all out. But I want to take that apart and make it into a mobile trough that I can like move along the fence line, you know, every couple of days, so it'll spread out some of the manure and spillage that they spill out in the little pasture, so it's not doesn't turn into just an absolute mess. Because when the rain comes this summer, we get monsoon rains in the summertime down here, and when the rains come, wherever the trough's going to be, it's going to be a muddy mess, and I don't want to have that happening. So, but we're going to get this cleaned out right now. We'll get the wheelbarrow and get it done. Probably put it on the rest of the garden or something. All right, that's the last bit of it. Looks much better. Clean that mess up. Of course, it'll be a mess again in a week again too, so until I get the mobile trough built, I'll probably do that sometime this next week. Taking care of animals the right way it amazes me how some people just can't do it. You know, every once in a while I'll see a story on the news. Somebody had X amount of horses or X amount of cows, and animal control had to come take them because they were in horrible conditions and emaciated or starving, or maybe even a couple of dead ones already that they found. And it's you know, if you're gonna, and that goes not just for cattle, that goes for dogs and cats and chickens and anything that relies on us to live, to eat, you know, to have a home. You know, you see my dog over there, he just wanders around the place and runs around with us. I mean, he lives outside. He doesn't go in the house. But he would be a house dog if he wanted, if we let him. He doesn't go in the house because as soon as I bathe him, he rolls around in something dead, and he stinks. Within 5 minutes of him getting a bath, he stinks like a dead animal again. And that's just what he likes to do. So he pretty well lives outside, but he keeps everything else away from this place. We don't have to worry about coons or possums or anything else getting in with our animals because he runs everything off. So he definitely knows his spot here in our little farm. But some people, I don't know, I guess they just can't. They just might not, either they don't have the compassion for it or just the not care, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But I'm not that way. You know, I understand 100% that the animals have a purpose. That doesn't mean I don't care for them, so. But I do care about them. They all have personalities, and you know, doing what we got to do in the end is one thing, but for them to suffer needlessly in between is just, it's the cruelest thing anybody can do, I think. One of the cruelest things. You know, animals are innocent. There's people that argue that they don't have a self-aware consciousness or something like that, but they're innocent. You know, all they know is what we feed them and give them a place to stay, and that's all they really know. And so to mistreat them with no cause is wrong on so many levels. I can't even explain it. But taking care of them is definitely a very important part of having a farm. So, hope you enjoy the shows I put out. If you do, wouldn't mind y'all hitting that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks for watching, y'all.